guys were not. You were in. Actually, you were in our preseason.
I was in Portland as well.
I want to cover playoff hockey in Vancouver. I want the fans to enjoy and experience playoff hockey in Vancouver. I want the Canucks to win a Stanley Cup for this city. And looking at Raptors Twitter right now, a fade for Cade. I feel like a lot of them would love to see him there. I mean, I'm not advocating for that, but I mean, I know that's big on Raptors Twitter minds these days.
There's a lot of Twitter warriors out there.
LA gave one out to Jared Goff, and they've already moved on. Correct. They didn't think that could work.
It's all good. It's in the box.
It's in the box.
Perfect.
For the Unnamed Sports Show, here's your host, Joshua Griffith.
That's right. Hello and welcome on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. As you heard there, I'm your host, Joshua Griffith. This is the Unnamed Sports Show on the Sports Talkline Network, where we talk sports 24/7, 365. Today on the show, I'll be catching you up with the Vancouver Whitecaps after their 1-0 win Sunday night against the Portland Timbers. So first, we're going to hear from Andy Rose and then Cristian Gutierrez, fresh off his MLS Team of the Week selection. So before we get to those, make sure to like the video down at the bottom, subscribe to the channel if you don't already, and let me know what you think so far of the Whitecaps start. So I started off by asking Andy about being a veteran on such a young squad. Hi, Andy. So obviously, you guys have a very young squad this year with average age in the starting 28 or in the 28 of 24 years old. How important is it for you as a veteran to be in that locker room and on the pitch and provide kind of that calming presence?
It's a young group for sure, but also a group that's had a lot of experiences together now, and everything we were forced to face last season with all the moving parts and different home bases. We came together in a really good way. And so although it's young, it's experienced, there's a lot of, more than just potential. There's so many really high quality young players. And as an older player, as a veteran guy, part of my role is to help as much as I can in any way I can to guide, especially guys on the younger end, the ones coming through, the ones who have come through the academy. Obviously, that's also part of my role within the club as well now, being a coach for the 19s. It's something I take an awful lot of pride in and have a lot of fun with. And one-on-one talks every day with different guys, depending on their situations, focusing on them rather than just myself all the time, which is very easy as a footballer, to do when you start thinking about things on the other side of the coaching side, and suddenly you have to think about, so many different players and their personal situations. Everyone's in a different moment. Those are all things I've taken in my stride and I really enjoy. Like I said, there's so many exciting young players at this football club that are going to go on and have incredible careers and do great things in the game. So any little things I can do to help along their way, I'm more than happy to do. And obviously I really enjoy doing.
And, you mentioned the pieces and some of the academy players coming up and getting into the main squad. How excited are you for this year in general and just the future for the Whitecaps?
Really excited. I think the biggest thing for me in spending those first couple of months, January, February, with the under-19 group and spending time with Vanny's under-23s and just around, trying to immerse myself on that side as much as possible. I saw so much quality down to the under-15s, under-16s. They're players that I fully expect to be playing for the Vancouver Whitecaps for the first team in years to come. I think that part is really exciting. At different clubs I've been at, I've seen excellent young players coming through the ranks, and just how important it is when they get to the first team to understand what that environment is all about, how important it is that all the little details that go into it, how important it is to keep the ball, how important it is to react on the loss of possession and your attitude, and how far that goes with some of the older players in the group. So I've tried to explain those details to guys as they've come in. I was so proud of the two players from my under-19s group with Nick Dasovic, who spent a lot of preseason with us. They both were fantastic and a credit to the whole academy. And as time goes on, more and more of those guys are going to get an opportunity. Like you said, it's a young group. The club wants to have these young players progressing through the ranks. And I've certainly seen more than enough evidence that a lot of these players will continue to do so.
Awesome. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Joshua. Corey, please.
Another one for me, Andy, here, a bit of a two-parter as well. Obviously, Toronto, great start for them in the CONCACAF Champions League, but then they hit a bit of a skid against Montreal in their opener to the final there. What do you think you can expect from that Toronto squad, who, under a new manager, probably wanting to get back to winning ways, and we know what they've done in years past as being consistent with cup finals? Do you expect a hungry Toronto FC squad this weekend?
Yeah, there's a reason why they've had so much success, in recent years. A lot of continuity in that squad, a lot of championships won, a lot of big games won. So there's so much experience and new direction, new sort of style of play, new coaching staff, obviously, but a lot of the same faces and clearly what we saw them do in the Champions League. It's they have the ability to be a special group. So. I think a lot of those teams that played in the Champions League had those two games. They can go either way. You have that experience of playing two games before everybody else, but there might also be some tired legs. So maybe that was part of the game against Montreal. Obviously, our staff have analyzed all three of those games, and we're going to try and find ways to break them down, to understand their press, their new kind of style of play, how many guys they push forward. Obviously, you have to take so many things into account: the weather in Orlando, the time of kickoff. All these little factors play a role. So there's so much for us to focus on. The biggest thing for me that I'll continue to reiterate to the group is it's fantastic to win your first game of the season. To get 3 points straight away is great, and something we haven't been able to do in the last couple of years. But you have to focus on the little details, have the humility to go into this game, knowing that we're going away from home. We really want a result. We want to build on our performance against Portland. It's going to be a very different game. Portland, for a lot of the game, sat in a lower block, and we were able to have stretches of possession. Probably expect Toronto to play with a higher line, so that the space on the pitch is going to be in different areas. And we need to have a very clear understanding of what this game is going to be all about, and then go into it humble, wanting to get a result.
Second part to my question there, Andy, and you just kind of mentioned it. When it comes to kickoffs and obviously weather, what type of guy are you? Are you a Friday Night Lights kind of guy, or do you like a good matinee affair? Because it's a noon Pacific kickoff, and I was just looking at the weather down there in Florida, and it's supposed to be around 28, 29, so a little bit of heat. Do you have any preference when it comes to kickoff time or weather you're playing in?
I've experienced so many different things. Obviously, in the UK, you get so used to 3:00 Saturday afternoon kickoffs. Especially when I was playing in Scotland, all the teams, just the furthest you travel from Glasgow is pretty much up to Inverness or Aberdeen, and it's a couple hours away. So pretty much majority of the kickoffs are 3:00 on a Saturday afternoon. In my earlier days in MLS in Seattle, I remember so many night games, Saturday night games. Here it's been the same. So no real difference. When you're at home, obviously with kids, 8:00 kickoffs are on the later side for them. My daughter Scotty, she's only 8 months and managed to, she was probably in bed around midnight the other night after the game, but managed to stick it out. So for the kids, it's probably better to be on the earlier side. But no, I mean, look, I think first and foremost, it was such a long off season that for us, where and when doesn't really matter. We're obviously all just so excited, enthusiastic to have games on.
I'm just going to tack another one onto that, Andy, because I know it made the difference for you guys last year. Obviously, playing games at your quote unquote home in Portland, you guys actually had quite the decent record, but just due to the flight schedule and the times you would land when you would travel to other cities like LA or what have you, you actually get to spend a night in Florida. You actually get to sleep in a bed there before waking up and playing the match. You're not just going straight from a plane through baggage claim right to the field. How important do you think that will be this season, just to get that little bit extra rest and preparation when you're going on the road, quote unquote?
Yeah, look, obviously that was the norm up until last season. So before this kind of whole in and out process was started, that's what we've been used to, especially when you go across the country. So yeah, for a game like this, for an afternoon kickoff, I think that's really important. Can we use that in and out process as an advantage when we play here with the altitude? Certainly that's something we look at. But no, like we've all dealt with this before. We're excited. All the little details that go into it. At the end of the day, we're there to play a football match. We can't wait to get going.
Thanks, Andy. Best of luck.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you, Corey. Alex, please.
Hey, Andy. Hope you're doing well. I just wanted to return to the game from Portland on Sunday quickly. From your position in the heart of defense, what do you think your team did well to keep that clean sheet? And what are you looking to build off of heading into this TFC game?
Hey, Alex. Look, the biggest thing going into the season that we've been working so hard on and started to work very hard on towards the end of last season is the space between our lines, being a very compact unit, protecting the middle of the pitch. Obviously, you face so many different challenges in this league. In this instance, their ability to find Valeri between the lines is a huge part of their games. Mora pulling off of the back shoulder of the opposite centre half is a big part of their games. And, he got in a couple of times. The first one in the first half off on my side, he was offside. Second half, he does the same sort of movement and Max made a great save. So, we want to obviously limit those chances. We want to push teams out wide. We want to close down quickly. We want to play with energy. And when we can push the defensive line up as high as possible, we will. Obviously, then when the ball's uncovered, we have two strikers at the moment and plenty of energy on the bench to really put defenders under a lot of pressure. And I thought Cavallini and Dajame did a really good job in the right moments the other night of not allowing so many balls over the top to be uncovered, which allows us to push the line up a little bit higher. At times, I think we probably could have pushed Boldy and Janio up a little bit higher as well. So that space, the space between us was probably a little bit too small at times. That will continue to get better. We want to be a team that moves well together, is tight, is compact. And at different moments in different games, that's gonna have to be in a low block. At different times, it's going to be in a higher block. So I thought, Max came up with two big saves for sure. Between Ranko and myself, we had a couple of blocks, and in the second half, probably didn't do quite as good a job in possession as we could have done once we went 1-0 up. I thought we were a real threat on set pieces, which is something we really want to be about as well this season when we can. Cavallini again won so many of those important battles for us. And that's huge when you have a focal point, a forward who's willing to put his body about like that, hold on to the ball, win fouls, win free kicks, connect. For us to be able to breathe and push the lines up is massive. So I thought all those little things were good starting points. Getting a clean sheet always gives you confidence as a defense. But like I said before, we need to focus on understanding why we won the game, all those little details, and make sure none of those go amiss, as we go into Toronto.
So it's always a blast to hear from Andy Rose and get such a unique aspect from him. If you don't know, Andy is actually also a coach for the Vancouver Whitecaps Academy program. So that's just a snippet from media today, but we also had Cristian Gutierrez, who spoke to us in Spanish with a translator. So this one's a little bit shorter. And if you speak Spanish, then I am jealous of you. And if not, then we had our man Seabass with the translation.
Cristian, thank you so much for doing this today. Just get your overall thoughts on getting the first win of the season. Obviously very important to get started the right way at your new home in Utah. So first question, it's a two-part question. First one, just overall thoughts on the victory and what it means for the season ahead.
Cristian, te preguntan qué significó para el equipo conseguir los 3 puntos contra Portland en el fin de semana.
Bueno, como siempre, donde estuve, siempre es lindo empezar ganando la temporada con los 3 puntos ahí en casa para dar confianza y para ganar confianza sobre todo en el equipo.
Yeah, like always, it's nice to start the season off with a winning start. And yeah, overall, it's great to begin with such confidence for the entire group.
Okay, second part to my question. What goals have you set for yourself here this season, Cristian? Obviously, you came in last year and and you proved yourself in some tough roles, especially down in Orlando and in those bubble scenarios. What personal goals have you set for yourself for improving this season, and what has Mark asked of you?
Cristian, te preguntan que en lo personal para ti, ¿cuáles son las metas que tienes este año y cuáles son unas metas que Mark te ha dado para esta temporada?
Bueno, consolidarme en el 11 titular, jugar la mayoría de los partidos y ser llamado más a la selección canadiense.
Yeah, basically to become a part of the starting 11 week in, week out, and also to become a starting player as well for the Canadian men's national team.
Muchísimas gracias, Cristian.
Esto, Micho.
Thank you, Corey. We'll go to Joshua, please.
Hi, Cristian. Congrats on Team of the Week honors. I just wanted to ask how you like the freedom to be able to attack on the left side, knowing you have Russell Teibert as a veteran presence there to cover you.
Te felicita Joshua por la nominación al equipo de la semana de MLS y te pregunta que cómo te sientes jugando con Russell Teibert en el lado izquierdo. Obviamente él te da un poco de ayuda en la parte defensiva también y te deja atacar cuando vas hacia adelante.
Exacto, eso mismo. Defensivamente me ayuda muchísimo, aparte de que él tiene una resistencia muy buena, o sea, puede correr los 90 minutos fácil. Y eso para el equipo y sobre todo para mí me ayuda. Me ayuda a atacar y me ayuda a defender.
Yeah, defensively he helps me a lot, but also he's got a big load of energy with him. He likes to get forward as well, and he just helps the team. Not only myself, he helps the team a lot because he can play for 90 minutes. He can go all the way, so he lets me get forward and helps me out defensively a lot.
Thank you, and best of luck against Toronto.
Thank you, Joshua. Alex, please.
Hola, Guti. Hope you're well. Just my question is, how big was it to go to the Canadian national team camp and be involved with that team for World Cup qualifiers and just working with fullbacks like Sam Adekugbe and Richie Laryea, and how has that helped your confidence going into this season?
Te pregunto que para ti, ¿cómo fue la experiencia de estar con el equipo canadiense en Florida y estar con defensas como Alex, which players did you mention?
Sam Adekugbe, Richie Laryea.
Como Sam Adekugbe y Richie Laryea, que también juegan la misma posición que ti. ¿Cómo te ayudó esa experiencia?
En la experiencia se gana y la verdad son muy buenos jugadores. Bueno, uno siempre aprende de lo que están ahí, siempre, bueno, ellos han estado muchas veces nominados, pero con esa calidad de jugadores que tienen las selecciones, uno aprende y la verdad disfruta estar ahí en la selección.
Yeah, they're both great players. You always learn in those situations when you're with the national team, when you have such high quality players in the national team, you always learn a lot from them and try and gain a lot of valuable insight from them. So yeah, it was a great experience overall.
Gracias, Guti.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Alex. JJ.
Hola, Guti. Easy question. How would you rate your growth as a player since coming to the Whitecaps?
Que para ti, ¿cómo has sentido tu crecimiento como jugador desde que llegaste a los Whitecaps?
La verdad, sinceramente he notado un cambio, porque la verdad el fútbol chileno con el fútbol de acá cambia y la verdad siento que he mejorado un poco en lo físico y lo táctico, pero sí he sentido un cambio.
Yeah, I felt a change since I arrived here. I've definitely noticed there's been an improvement from myself. When I compare the Chilean league with Major League Soccer, I've noticed a change, and it's allowed me to become a little bit more physical. And yeah, I've definitely noticed I've improved a lot.
Where do you feel like you've improved? Is it on the decision-making side of things, the positional? Where would you say?
Que tú en qué forma crees que has evolucionado como jugador, como en qué términos, como defensivamente.
La verdad, en los términos defensivos y mismo por la asistencia que tuve en temas de tiro libre y centros y ataque y defensa, siento que he mejorado bastante de lo que he estado hace 2 años.
Yeah, I feel like defensively I've improved a lot. And also, as you saw my assist over the weekend, I've improved on that and trying to get balls in the box, trying to get forward. I've improved my attacking game as well. But overall, just improving on my defensive game has been key for me this year. And yeah, it's overall made me a better player than what I was before.
So we could see big things from Guti this season, and it was really nice to hear from him, and especially after his MLS Team of the Week honors. He could see a lot more time in the next month or so, and I'll get you caught up with that and the rest of the Whitecaps situation as we move ahead to Saturday's 12 p.m. Pacific time start against the Toronto FC. So a reason that Cristian Gutierrez could be getting a lot of time at left back is Ali Adnan is still back awaiting visa issues in Vancouver. So he's training with a small contingent of academy players. Isaac Ballmer's there. Coach Mark Dos Santos spoke on Wednesday, and both Eric Godoy and Derek Cornelius both kind of trained this week in limited capacity. So I would not expect to see them on the weekend. Andy Rose and Ranko Veselinovic did pretty bang up job against the Timbers. So I think that they will be back in. Tosaint Ricketts is still dealing with some lingering issues. And then the new faces on the squad. So Bruno Gaspar and Kay Alexandre were both training with the full squad. They spoke to the media on Tuesday and said that themselves that it would be a little bit before they got up to the proper fitness levels and would need to be integrated into the squad. But then on Wednesday, Mark Dos Santos said, when asked if they would travel to Orlando, he didn't really rule it out and said that he would have to check with the training staff and evaluate things as we progressed on the week. If you ask me, I do not think they'll be making the trip. Probably be a little while before we see them. So I think we're going to see the exact same starting 11 that went against the Timbers. Lucas Cavallini and Christian Dajove are showing some great work up front as mutual strikers. Cavallini's ability to just hold up the ball when needed and find him or David Casito, flashing down one of the wings. It's kind of providing a nice spark for the Whitecaps. And an excitement level. And then also too, like that, you're seeing something. You're not lingering for goals. You're like, oh, okay, when are they going to, you're actually seeing offense. You're seeing them string together passes. You're seeing nice overlapping runs. So it will be interesting to see what they have up against Toronto FC, as they will be looking to rebound after their 4-2 loss to CF Montreal. So make sure to check out the Sports Talkline website this week for the latest news and articles about the Vancouver Whitecaps. And also follow me on Twitter at Joshua Griffith 0. So for the Unnamed Sports Show, I have been your host here on the Sports Talkline Network. Tune in next week, and remember, love sports, all sports.